Next week is going to be insane for the stock market. Why is that? Because we might have hit a bottom overall. And with that being said, we got some stocks that might be making a rally very, very soon. We got Bitcoin moving up and way more things to go through. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys the news, everything to look forward to next week with the stock market. I'm going to give you guys some plays. With that being said, we just came out with a video with the best stocks to kind of invest in for the next 45 days to get the most return. So go check out that video if you guys want. You guys don't have to. With that being said, this was on Friday. We had some stocks in the green, some stocks in the red, but we did have key stocks like, Apple, Tesla. Tesla moved the market a little bit. You got Meta, you got Nvidia down 0.70. We already went through this yesterday's video, but with that being said, we are looking pretty decent with the stock market overall. With that being said, did we hit a bottom? Maybe, maybe not. We'll be talking about that a little bit later when we get to the charts. And let's get started. So first off, we do got Bitcoin coming at a good level. We're going to be showing you guys the levels in a second. But we also have XRP set for a big rally. And we just have so much news with XRP, Bitcoin, Shiba, just multiple, crypto kind of coming back. With that being said, let's look at the price. So Bitcoin is currently trading at $85,000 and we kind of been coming up a decent amount, looking pretty bullish. Let's just see how that kind of plays out for the rest of the week. But you can see Bitcoin up. We're going to be looking at some price targets of Bitcoin later on and some stocks like MSTR, Coinbase, and IBIT that moves exactly with Bitcoin. So you guys can make some decent plays and giving you guys some plays with that. But with that being said, in position for the first key RSI breakout in 6 months at 85,000. So keep this one on your mind because Bitcoin might rally again. Basically, we might even be able to see Bitcoin at that 90,000 level. And XRP hits 2.7 million milestone, teasing price comeback. So we might get a comeback with XRP also if you guys are invested into that. And we got some, anti-Musk protester gather outside of Tesla dealership in Washington. So that's still going on. So keep in mind for Tesla stock overall, you might see the stock still go down and get some bad news. With that being said, let's get to the browser. So with that being said, let me zoom out a little bit, messed up a little bit. With that being said, these are the earnings for this week. So some of the earnings I'm hype about, sorry if it's a little bit blurry, but we have GameStop on Tuesday after close. And then we also have before open, Dollar Tree, Chewy. I'm pumped up for those ones. And there's some other ones too, but if you guys want to screenshot this, Bitfarms is going to be another one too. So keep all these on your mind and on your radar. With that being said, some of the economic calendar. So March 24th is tomorrow, Monday. So we do have some S&P Flash US PMI for basically like 15 minutes before market opens, or actually, sorry, 15 minutes after market opens. I apologize. So keep this one on your mind because this can move SPY 15 minutes after market open, and you might see it kind of fluctuate first. So keep this on your mind before you invest. Tuesday, we have S&P case kind of home price index an hour or 30 minutes before market opens. And then 30 minutes afterwards, we got consumer confidence, new home sales. Wednesday, we got durable good orders, some other things too. Thursday, we got initial jobless claims that can move GDP, advanced U.S. trade balance in goods, retail inventories, wholesale inventories, pending home sales, that can move a decent amount. Personal income, personal spending, this can move the market. Keep in mind because of inflation, all that. PCE index, PCE year over year, core PCE. We just got PCE overall. So keep that on mind for the economic calendar. You guys can screenshot this and or just look up stock market calendar. And then I personally use Market Watch, but there's other ones that you can use too. With that being said, I like to look at most active stocks. So you do got Pfizer. Pfizer is coming up again. Pfizer moves up and down, very volatile, especially if there's like a new disease or something coming out. I don't wish upon new diseases, but if there is one that comes out, look at Pfizer and Moderna. Nvidia moved pretty decently. We might get back up to that 120 level. Ford, Tesla, Palantir's back at that $90 level, so keep that in mind. We do got JetBlue business card packed with benefits, frequent flyers. I seen that recently, and I was just interested in that. We do have, a Trump plan for TikTok is coming together, and Oracle may play a big role. So keep Oracle on your mind. Oracle has been coming up with the NVIDIA kind of saying that they're going to be working together. So keep that one on your mind and on your radar. Next one we have is basically the overall SPY. So basically a forecast. So Wall Street's S&P forecast range is widening, the chart of the week. So they kind of just go more in depth with the chart, so they're basically saying that you can either get to the lowest, which is 5.5, and or the highest, which is 7.1. But we also have things saying 6.7, 6.6, 6.6, 6.66, 6.6, and some other price range that we might get at the year end. But people are kind of, making it up and down, but they did kind of bring it down a little bit more recently. So this can maybe make SPY look a little bit shorter, but keep in mind, we're currently trading at like 56, 67. So let's hope we can get back up, So NVIDIA is Jensen Huang on why DeepSeek new model will need 100 times more computing. So basically just kind of downgrading DeepSeek overall and saying that they don't have enough computing power. Backlash continues against Elon Musk's role with Doge. So basically just Tesla showrooms, they're basically blowing up Teslas or catching Teslas on fire and stuff like that. So just like I said before, if you guys are invested in Tesla, keep this one on your mind. You got some more outside of the dealership, outside of the province Tesla dealership. And then, honestly, bro, look at this, bro. God, man, it's getting insane, But with that being said, if you guys want to know how to get paid every single month with some passive income, these are some stocks to look at month over month. So screenshot this list if you guys want, but this was just something cool that I thought I should share with you guys. Another one is the sell-off is sharper than average correction in the last 100 years with the overall SPY. And this is the current one, which is like the orange one. So it is kind of going a little bit more insane. Another thing is that this is like a list that I kind of seen. I don't know if it's like 100%, but where cars are sold in America. So these are cars that are sold in America, basically. And Tesla is 100%. So basically, let's say if you're selling, or let's say if the car is getting sold in America, this is where it's made. So it's 100% in the US. And as you guys know, Tesla has, places in China, other places too. And they're basically making like, if it's made in China, you're probably going to get it in China. So basically what this chart is kind of showing is that every single Tesla that is sold in the United States is made in the United States. So this is just like a little chart that shows like tariffs aren't really too major, but it can be major, depending on how they make it in China, because they still got to get the parts somehow, So keep this on your mind. These are some companies that might get affected more with the tariffs. This is a list if you want to know, like, what's really going to be getting more affected with tariffs. Because if a car is getting made, like, let's say Canada, right? 31% for Nissan, right? 31% of their cars are going to be tariffed. So keep that on your mind. Another chart is basically the Cybertrucks. I think 46,000 or something like that got recalled because of the bumpers, basically. But a lot of bearish things with Tesla. But let's look at the overall SPY. If you guys want more price targets, just look at my last market outlook video. This one, we're going to be going through SPY, and then we're going to be going through Bitcoin a little bit to give you guys some plays and to give you guys some plays with SPY. So understand that news, or that thing that's going to come out basically 15 minutes after market opens. I recommend either not trading or just trading based on the numbers. With that being said, let's look at the 570 level, and then especially the 571 level. We bounce off of that a few times. So look at that level. If we can bounce above that, we could probably get 574, 575, 578, and then 580. And then down below, if we maybe make a bounce off of it once again, look at that. Look at 564, 561.9, and 559.17, and then 558 to the downside. And then the lows of 549.6 for the overall SPY. I do recommend just looking at the price range because, some days we're going to be green and then some days we're going to be red. It's kind of like 50-50 right now, So honestly, just play it based on how the day is looking, and that's how you can make your money. I personally just get 10% out of my trades. Literally, SPY has to move like 50 cents for me to make my play, so it's not even that bad. So just move with the trend, basically. With that being said, Bitcoin isn't going to move accurately with my charts. It's not 24 hours, but basically we're trading at around that 85,000 level right now. With that being said, if we can get up to that 90, to that even $92,000 level, we can make some decent plays with MSTR, depending on how it opens. We might even open up green and bigger. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at that 320, 330, and that 340 level. You get some option plays, especially if Bitcoin keeps on going up. You can make a decent amount of money with that. And then same thing to the downside. If it goes down, you can make the same thing. I recommend looking at Coinbase too, and a stock, or basically an ETF that moves with Bitcoin, IBIT. It moves basically accurate with Bitcoin, so you can trade some option plays with this and or just hold it long term. So keep that one on your mind. But with that being said, the the stock market overall is still scared over the Trump, the Trump tariffs and the policy uncertainty and kind of inflation. So keep that one on your mind. So we might even, we might have hit a bottom, but we might still go down. We're way too close to the bottom to say that it's a bottom, because all we got to do is have, maybe 2 or 3 red days and then we're making new lows. So keep that one on your mind. We do got corporate earnings reactions. They're kind of not really showing that, they're really doing good. Just like FedEx plunged. A lot of people are plunging. So with, the earnings not really looking too good, that can also bring down market certainty too. We do have some other things. We have Heathrow Airport power outage, a fire-related power outage at London's airport, kind of disrupted operations. That can also bring down some things with airlines and some other things too. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and you guys can comment down below. Feel free to comment down below if you guys have any questions. Use those links below to get some free stocks and coins and join the Discord. Peace out.